WCW was coming over. We were wrestling for WCW, but we didn't have the contract where WCW owned our Japanese rights. So we were hired by the Japanese to come over, and we were considered Japanese talent. So when WCW came in, we were happy to see the American boys, but right away, Ricky Choshu comes in and says, Animal-san, Hawk-san, you Japanese talent, come over here. Took us in the Japanese locker room. Now, no gaijin ever dressed with the Japanese guys. So when Choshu called us over, you could just hear the rumblings of the American boys in the locker room. Then there was a situation that happened like 2 years before that, I guess, when Hawk was dating his wife, Dale. They were just going out at the time. Hawk got up to use the restroom, and Randy Savage had said something like, hey, why don't you let me, they're at a Japanese restaurant. He goes, why don't you let me crawl underneath that table and show you what the real man can do, you know? But nobody, and Dale never told Hawk that, and, you know, because she didn't want to cause any trouble. And Hawk didn't know for 2 years, but finally his wife told him after they got married. She told him. So I know it was eating up Hawk, and Hawk told me when he was over there, he goes, that freaking Savage comes over, I'm going to talk to him. So they started talking. You got to picture this. There's stairs going down. Hawk standing like right here on one side of the stairs, and Savage is on right by the stairs going down, and Hawk standing leaning against the railing. And Flair's already in the ring. Flair's the world champ. Savage is a challenger, so Savage was going to go second because he was going to give her a different pop than Flair, right? Flair was a heel. He was a babyface, go second. So all I hear, and I'm standing right next to Hawk, I hear Hawk saying, so you calling my old lady a liar? And then Savage goes, yeah, I'm calling the douchebag a liar. And before he could finish his sentence, Hawk open hand Savage, knocked Savage flat on his back. His glasses flew off his head. The cowboy hat went flying. Tassels got all messed up on his arms. And then Savage, you know, had to pop up and look aggressive in front of all the boys. Otherwise, he would look like a turd, you know? And Hawk goes, Hawk goes, yeah, I knew you had a chin like a girl. You know what I mean? And so Savage was going to try to be a tough guy, and then Fujinami waist-locked Savage and said no. Saito just said to Hawk, Hawk-san, put his hand up. So Hawk stopped. He said, okay, Masa. Hawk said to Savage, he goes, I'll be waiting for you outside after this match. We'll see if you got the balls to come out. Hawk stood in the ring for 20 minutes after that match. Savage never came back there and went outside. Hawk came back in front of everybody and said, see, I knew you were a pussy. You didn't come outside, you freaking play. And that's what he said to him. That's what started that whole thing with Savage. And then Savage jumped him one time at a concert, I believe. And when the Hawk was taking the piss in the stall and jumped from behind, they got into a little, you know, tassel until the security guys came in and broke it up.
So did that affect your standing in WCW after?
No, not really. I mean, maybe a little bit. I mean, we were on the verge of, you know, getting a decent contract, but, you know, there was a lot of business stuff going on. We really wanted to make them pay for the Japanese rights because we knew we were golden to them in Japan. Right. You know, and if you really wanted to keep us positive, you know, and we couldn't work out the amount of days and then give up the Japanese rights. What was that worth? And, you know, and to be honest with you, we didn't like the price at the time, so we just said, okay, we'll keep it the way it is.
Randy wanted to use the bathroom, and we were with my sister and a girlfriend of mine and Randy, and we were walking to the bathroom, and we didn't even know they were there. And there was urinals, and then there was like a bathroom part and stuff. We walked in, and all of a sudden, I didn't even know him without the makeup on, you know?
Right.
And then when I seen him and his wife started hollering at my... Well, first of all, they just went straight into a fight.
Who, Randy and Hawk?
Yeah, I don't even think they said anything. By the time I walked in the room, they were already fighting.
What was their heat to begin with? What did they have heat over?
I don't know. Long
Something
time
from the
stuff.
past?
Yeah,
okay.
Long time stuff. And I walked in and... Oh, God, what a mess. They had the urinals ripping off the walls, the doors. Oh, Lord.
So they're already hitting each other.
It looked like two monsters just fighting.
Right.
And there was about 15 people standing around security outfits, and nobody stopped it. Nobody stopped the fight. And then so there was pop cans that were full, and I started whipping them at Hawk's head to get them to stop.
What was it?
Pop cans.
Oh, soda cans.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was hitting him, and then his wife got in my sister's face and was pushing my sister, and then my sister's younger than me, so you ain't doing that.
Right.
So we got in a fight. So you got these huge men fighting, us fighting, and nobody's stopping it. It's like, it was insane. You got 50 huge men standing around with security shirts on.
They wanted to see a real match, so.
They were scared to get into it. You shouldn't have seen. It was insane.
Right.
But after I hurt Hawk's wife, and I didn't mean to. It was heavy, and nobody was helping to stop.
Right.
You mentioned Hawk and Savage. Animal actually told me a story once. I don't know if you can confirm or deny it, that in Japan they actually had a backstage.
I was there. Yeah. I was right there. I was right in the middle of it because Ricky Choshi yelling at me. I can't remember who we were, but there was wife, girlfriend involved, and they both live in Tampa at the time. And there was some issue about that, and I'm not exactly sure, that part of it, but there was definitely heat. And they hit Randy Savage music, and I think he was one of the main event guy, It might have been main event match. And in the back of the curtain, Randy Savage and Hawk is going at it. I mean, they were like going at it. I mean, they're face to face about to go, and music hits, and he's not going out, and Enrique Chosha's coming at me, says, what the F is going on in Japanese, and actually they had to stop the music because there was actually, and I imagine me, I'm weighing about 135 pounds soaking wet, trying to get in these two
Savage
guys.
Was huge at that time.
Oh yeah, and I have to go, excuse me, but your music is playing, so that kind of thing. But I don't think he ever came to a blow. But I know, from what I understand, they ran into each other a few months after that on the beach in Tampa, and there was actually physical altercation.
Now, did the incident with Hawk happen on that tour?
As a matter of fact, it did. And it all regarded about pretty much everybody being stressed out, been out of gimmicks, been out of Roy's, been out of the stuff that they used to have and stuff like that. I think that had a lot of attention and stuff to do with it. And then me, just Scorpio and the mouth that I have sometimes and shit, had a lot to do with the situation too at the time and stuff, Ric Flair standing in the door doing the Ric Flair thing, and Hawk looking at Ric Flair, and Ric Flair looking around like he might be looking for somebody, and Hawk says, I think Ric Flair's looking for somebody. Maybe he's looking for me to go ride in the car with him again. And me being as smart as I be, I said, F that pussy, let him ride by himself. And I guess he didn't hear the F part or the pussy part or whatever it was. And he asked me what I said. And I said it again. And next thing you know, fight was on.
Were you a little worried getting in a skirmish like that in North Korea with your passport seized?
I thought I was going to be thrown in goddamn jail and be locked over there, and everybody was going to be back over there in Japan, and my ass was still going to be in North Korea, stuck in the damn jail, and ain't done a damn thing I can do. Thank God it was on the bus, not in the streets, and it wasn't something that was more serious where, one of us, was in the process of having to lose a limb or something like that and had to go to the hospital, because then it probably would have been some kind of charges or something, brought upon me or something that would have happened, so.
It was more of just a quick thing, and when it was over, it was over?
No, not necessarily. It kind of lingered on for a few hours and a few days and stuff like that, and by the time we got back to Japan, it pretty much was all squashed and settled by that time and stuff, but I was also forewarned by Black Cat Nicholson, rest in peace, that also told me at the given point in time, hey, look, bro, because I was planning on doing some real devious type stuff, that, no man probably should be thinking of doing it in his right mind. And like he said, Joe, if you do that over here, bro, you're pretty much on your own. You can, go ahead and kiss the States goodbye and your life. If this happens in Japan, well, and that's a different story. I could probably get you out. I know enough people, I could probably get you home. You know what I mean? It won't be the safest way, but I can get you home.